What is up YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Teen Generations, and today we have another deck profile on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at something that's very underrated for Bermuda Triangle actually, and this is actually going to be something a little bit different. This is going to be Duo Temptation Relic. So right after Prism got hit, I believe this card kind of got announced, and a lot of people were pointing to this saying, oh, you know, it's just going to be more of the same. Prism's still going to be really, really good, but honestly, this doesn't really vibe with too many of the Prism cards. This is actually a completely different playstyle. I really feel like this is like an underrated deck. This is actually a competitive deck in my mind. You know, maybe some of the tier 1 decks that we currently have in the meta right now are maybe a little bit better, but overall this applies constant pressure and just really embodies a lot of that like V-style gameplay where you're spamming markers, restanding a bunch of things with a Vanguard and a rear guard. So overall, I think it actually is really, really solid, and I can't wait to hop into this. So let's hop into the deck profile and get started. And really quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that we do have a TCG player affiliate link down in the description below. You can shop that link, absolutely no cost to you, to help support the channel. Thank you in advance. I'll never ask you guys for money or anything like that, any subscription fees, so that really does help me out and makes me, you know, just able to afford a little bit more in this game, which I really do appreciate. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like on the video, possibly consider subscribing to the channel. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's get started here. So obviously you saw it before. We have 4 of the Duo Temptation Relic, and just to show you over here, let's read the skill together. The Act skill is actually really good for a bit of an extension and kind of setting up your plays a little bit later into the game, but act on Vanguard circle once per turn, bind a rear guard, draw a card. Very simple, very easy, sets up your bind zone for multi-attack later on, which is this over here. Auto on Vanguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked, we CB1, discard a card, stand this unit, and this unit gets drive -1 till the end of turn. Choose up to 1 card in your bind zone with the same card name as the card that you discarded for this cost, call it to rear, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, get an imaginary gift force, put it on your Vanguard circle. So it's up to you really where you will ride this and put the original force marker. I typically do go force 1 in this deck, for obvious reasons. Just spamming those markers become a little bit harder to deal with late game, and I feel like this does have the tools to kind of get us there. Tech thinning, making sure that, like, you know, you can defensively hit triggers, offensively too. I think this really does have the juice to kind of go the mile, so to speak. And yeah, just really sets you up for some good things overall, and a lot of skills, a lot of things recycle from the drop, a lot of things like you know, have skills when they're discarded, things of that nature. So this really does, it kind of sounds a little neg, discard a card from your hand, but at the same time you're really actually fueling your costs for other cards, and there's ways to get that back over here. Next up too, I'm actually running 4 of these. This is going to be the legendary Prism Duo Nectaria. Nectaria is a deck thinning and just like a complete tool setup in this deck. It's not a bad body to call in and of itself because it does actually get that extra 10k over there. You're never really going to ride this on Vanguard circle. You don't want to be doing that, so you're not going to get the extra crit and drive, but overall the extra, you know, the 24k body on top of a force marker, maybe 2 of them, it ends up being decent. And also the first skill, just binding this card, going to get another card from your deck and just bind it. Again, deck thinning is deck winning. It's kind of what we're doing here. I know you're going -1 from hand technically, but at the same time this really just does fuel the deck, and I feel like without this it's just not as consistent, so you really do need that at 4 of. Over here, hopping into the grade 2s, kind of went crazy, 3, 4, and now back to 2. But this is an awesome card. This is Duo Mini Heart Roan. So Roan is part of this package, came out with this card. Auto on rearguard circle when this unit attacks for each card in your bind zone. This guy gets an extra 3k until the end of battle, so it does read a little bit soft, but when you're actually playing it, you're going to see like your bind zone is absolutely stacked. This can easily surpass like a 30k just off that skill alone, so this is a really, really good call target for late in the game. And then it's act on rear or Vanguard circle once per turn. If you have a Vanguard with Duo in its name, counterblast 1, choose a card from your bind zone, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as that guy, and then reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, basically setting up her calls later. Also, you can play this on Vanguard circle grade 2 and kind of do that and just set up for a little bit of like a future play in general, so definitely an option there. But such a solid card, very, very slept on. I feel like this is really what makes this deck almost as good as it is. Next up, a very classic package. We're going to go with 4 Aqua. You guys all know what Aqua pretty much does at this point, so I'm not really going to go too much into it. And obviously the Lisalet. So Lisalet, again, same thing. You kind of bounce them off each other, spam your board early game, just get that pressure on, make sure that they're kind of feeling the burn, so to speak, and then yeah, replenish it back with Aqua. Aqua late game 2 helps you get things back into your hand to maybe call from your bind zone, gets you that extra draw, digging deeper into your deck, extending your plays a little bit further. Really just, you know, such a solid combo. It's been that way forever in Bermuda Triangle now for the past couple years, so just gonna keep rolling with it until it gets banned out or something. So over here we are going to look at actually another Prism card. This is the limit of the Prism package, just FYI over here, but Prism Image Clear should be your kind of first call target if you go first off of this grade 3, just because its skill, when it plays from bind zone, we get to bind a card with Prism in its card name from our drop zone, draw a card, and this unit gets 10k until the end of turn. So you're discarding 1 from hand, but it's also putting it back into the bind zone. So A, it's keeping your bind zone count high, you're drawing a card and giving itself 10k. 28k beater just on your first turn, like it's fine. You know, hit a trigger again, you can put it on there if you want. You can make it a little bit further, but just helps you kind of survive into the late game. It's not bad at all. Don't really use it for the Vanguard skill necessarily, aside from you know, you could go and get the other prism over here, but really just use it for the second skill, like I said. Next up too, we do only run 4 grade 3s in this deck, so we need to see them. I'm running 4 Mermaid Isle Sedna. I just need to find the grade 3s. This helps get them. Really as simple as that, and there's nothing else really to say about it. Next up here, another in-theme kind of support. This is going to be Duo Pretty Horn URL. So URL skill, when this guy is placed on ban, search your deck for up to 1 normal unit, bind it, shuffle your deck. Very simple but deceivingly good. Just being able to search out, just manually going to do that, riding into the grade 2. If you have to ride it the next turn over here, you can then go search something out from your bind zone. Kind of sets each other up, which is really nice. And then its second skill, auto, when this guy is placed on rear from hand, choose up to 1 normal unit from your drop, put them to the bottom of your deck. If the card from the bottom of your deck, same card name as the card in the bind zone, we Soul Blast 1, draw a card. So it helps you Soul Blast some stuff out. So if you need to get the prism back, that's fine. You can put that, typically that's what I kind of search for if I do it, putting things into the drop and then going ahead and kind of recycling your deck is really decent, especially if you need to call things off of it. You know, you can also use it with the Nectaria. Just really solid card overall. And then we do have 1 flex spot, so why not run one of the best grade ones in this clan, Sparkling Soul and Nikita. So when this guy's placed on rear or Guardian Circle, Soul Blast 1 or more, this guy gets 5k and 5k shield until the end of turn for each Soul Blasted cost paid for this. So if you Soul Blast 3 or more, you also draw a card. So very solid. That pretty much rounds out all of our normal units with the exception of just the starter. Getting into the trigger lineup, very basic in this deck. I don't think you'd really go outside the box, so to speak. You can maybe up the draws by a little bit, but we are just going with the 8 crit, very classic. We're going with the 4 draw sentinels. We do need draws in this deck, and then also just the 4 guardian heal guardians. This deck operates off of 1 counterblast, by the way. Like, you really only need 1 counterblast to have a successful turn. I know that this does have a CB, but this is the main CB that you're paying. The one flaw I feel like with this build, and I don't even think it's like a flaw necessarily, it's just the way I kind of built it. It doesn't have counter chargers. You can put a counter charger into here if you want, but most of your opponents don't know how to play against this, and if they do, I mean, counter charging, I mean, denying that play, it can only get you so far. Like, you only need 1 counterblast, and if they denied you a counterblast, you can go into this and kind of give it to yourself. Nobody's doing that in V. It's just not the format where that kind of happens. So I feel pretty comfortable in the way this is built, but that's the only possible change I would, I think, make going forward. Aside from that, there is also the grade 1 that pops out and you soul charge 1, just for some more early aggression. But I kind of like the build the way it is. I think it's pretty stable. It does what it wants to do very consistently. You can maybe bump this package down to 3 and 3, but again, I just really like those overall. So I feel like seeing those just makes it super consistent, and I'm having a ton of fun with the deck. Like I said, I think it is actually pretty competitive. I think it's very slept on. If you are in the market for a deck that you feel you don't want to spend a whole lot for, but still want, you know, a lot of bang for your buck, I feel like this is definitely a great option overall. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of style of deck profile, because these are a little bit faster for me. I feel like I can get more out this way, but I know the other ones look a little bit prettier where I'm just you know, I'm zooming in if you've you know, watched things on the channel before. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Alex from Team Generation signing out.